What are some of the most clever, genius crimes ever committed? A guy dressed like a road maintenance worker robs a cash truck outside of a bank. But prior to this, he put an ad on Craigslist offering work for $28 per hour, and anyone interested had to show up at the bank, wearing the same road maintenance attire. A dozen guys, all unwitting decoys, were milling about the parking lot as the robber escaped, on an inner tube floating down a nearby river. Here's an article. There was a parking attendant who collected the parking fees for a public zoo. He worked there for decades. One day he just stopped showing up. After a few days they called the city and said the parking attendant quit and they needed to hire a new one. The city told them that it didn't cost any money to park on that lot. The 1986 LA tunnel bank robberies. Opening square bracket dot. 2-3 people used ATVs and other equipment to traverse Law's storm drainage system, cut holes into bank vaults, and stole millions of dollars worth of cash and valuables. When investigated, cops discovered they were probably very close to cutting their way into another bank vault that would have netted them tens of millions. They've never been caught or identified. Maybe not a crime, but I remember a story of an elderly man who had been diagnosed with some sort of disease that would kill him within a year, so he got life insurance and killed himself with a gun. The thing was though is the insurance didn't pay out for suicide, so what he did was buy balloons, wrapped it around the gun and killed himself outside, and the balloons plus the wind carried the gun miles away from his house. The police ruled it as a murder, so the insurance paid out to his kids and anyone else on the plan, and it was only discovered a few months later when someone found the gun, but because the insurance company had already paid out there was no obligation from the family to pay it back. His name was Alan Abramson if you want more details. The 1976 bank robbery in Nice, France. They tunneled into the vault on the Bastille Day long weekend, stole over 40 million francs worth of cash, securities and valuables, and spray-painted sans armes, ni haine, ni violence, without weapons, neither hatred nor violence, on the wall. The leader was caught, and during his trial he jumped out of the window, landed on a car, got on the back of a waiting motorcycle and disappeared. Honey browser extension. It's literally daylight robbery, and the best part is influencers themselves were at the short end of the stick. The potential loss is in millions for sure. Selling the Eiffel Tower as scrap metal was a great con that doesn't get a lot of attention. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum theft has to be top of the list. To this day multiple Rembrandts are still missing with zero indication who took them or where they are. Not a great crime but clever. Guy the first grew up with was a grade school dropout. Got himself a tow truck. Bid cheap for the contract to service rental cars at a certain airport. Okay, EWR. Back in the day cars had distributors. When this guy needed money he just pulled the distributor wire on a rental car or two. This resulted in a call to him to tow and fix said vehicle. Which he happily did, sending the rental car company a fat bill for complex repairs, when all he had to do was plug in the wire. He worked this scam for years. I break into Tiffany's at midnight. Do I go for the vault? No, I go for the chandelier. It's priceless. As I'm taking it down, a woman catches me. She tells me to stop. It's her father's business. She's Tiffany. I say no. We make love all night. In the morning, the cops come and I escape in one of their uniforms. I tell her to meet me in Mexico, but I go to Canada. I don't trust her. Besides, I like the cold. 30 years later, I get a postcard. I have a son and he's the chief of police. This is where the story gets interesting. I tell Tiffany to meet me by the Trocadero in Paris. She's been waiting for me all these years. She's never taken another lover. I don't care. I don't show up. I go to Berlin. That's where I stashed the chandelier. Now I know this plan is foolproof. Check this out. First of all, you and me start working at the bank. Doesn't matter the position. Okay, just so long as we get in there, alright? Then we just go there every day, do the work, gain their trust until we get them in the palm of our hand. Alright, so how we get the money? That's the beauty of it, bro. They deposit the money into our bank accounts, week after week, month after month. They're not even gonna know they're being robbed. And then 20 or 30 years later, we walk out the front door like nothing even happened. In school, asking someone if I could borrow a piece of paper. I wasn't borrowing it, I took notes on it and they never got that paper back. Older days fabulous crime. Blanket deposit tickets were always on counters, you filled in your account number and name. Some genius took a bunch of blank deposit tickets and used the MICR machine, the black coating on the bottom of the deposit ticket that was read by their machine, to encode his account number on all of them. For a number of days, all deposits went straight into his account and he moved the monies elsewhere each day. Clever. I guess we'll really never know. Diamond heist at Gasson Diamonds in Amsterdam in 2001. Bloke worked at the store and noticed that he got a lot of trust when handling diamonds with little oversight. So one day he simply walked in with an empty microwave box and took it to the back. Loaded the box with millions worth of diamonds and walked out the front door, all the while greeting colleagues and customers, never to be seen again.